fact that families and people have been really cautious. So I'm really happy about that we've been able to minimize the spread and keep people and keep our kids in school. Want to say again a thank you to the staff, but also to our nurses who've done an incredible job in tracking the data, communicating with parents, doing the contact tracing, and again to our Board of Health who texts me and emails me and keeps me informed on a regular basis of what's going on. So just a real brief update on that. More than happy to answer any questions. I'll do on Friday, I'll do a brief newsletter with, again, some updates on numbers. We saw locally across the state a decline in the past 2-3 days of numbers overall, but today we saw another spike. I hold my breath when I get an email from the Board of Health because I don't know what it's either going to be you have one more positive case or 3 more people in quarantine, or the other end, good news, you have 3 people coming off quarantine. So that's all I have for a COVID update. Happy to answer questions if there are any. All right. Next, just wanted to do a brief overview of some stuff that's going on in the schools and the buildings and stuff that I'm just really proud to share with you. In no particular order, we'll start with the snow day. I don't know how proud I am with the snow day, but we did decide to do a full snow day, regular old school snow day. When we looked at the snow accumulation and the timing of the storm, it made sense that we had to cancel. We're looking to get anywhere from 12 to 18 inches snow starting in another hour or so and running straight through tomorrow. We had the option of doing a remote learning day. When I was tracking the storm and looking at the weather forecasts, we're expecting winds in the 15-20 mile an hour range with gusts in the 30s and 40 mile an hour range. Didn't want to be put in a position where people were losing power, kids were losing power, teachers were losing power, and unable to access remote learning. So we played it safe, played a little conservative, and went with a full snow day. One of the superintendents in Massachusetts sent something out, a Google sheet, asking people if they were going to do a traditional snow day or a remote learning day. And he had about 120 responses, right around 120. And it was about a 60-40 split, 60 doing the remote learning and 40% doing the old school traditional snow day. So where regionally, a lot of people are doing the full snow day. So that's where we're at. I talked to John Furno, the DPW, the police chief, and Jeff. They're going to keep me informed of the roads and power outages over the next day or so. Hopefully we'll be back in school on Friday. Have been lucky enough for the past couple of days just to be able to be in buildings and walking around the halls. I know we have some teachers on here, and just great kudos to them for what I'm seeing inside classrooms with what they're doing with kids, how kids are actively engaged in learning. You can't see it through their masks, but you can see it in their eyes. They're excited to be in classrooms, and the stuff that's going on inside classrooms is just absolutely spectacular. So I wanted to just share that with the school committee and with the community who's watching tonight, that the work that our teachers are doing and the level of engagement of our kids inside the classroom is tremendous. I got a text earlier this evening that one of our first grade teachers is doing a remote movie night with her kids tonight, just as a way to connect with kids and do something. And it's just great that our teachers are spending time outside the traditional school day just to connect with kids. And although we can't do some of the traditional things for snow days and around the holiday season because of COVID, the fact that she's spending some time with students watching a movie is awesome. So just wanted to share that with people. One thing that's come out in the news that some people have said, it was voted on yesterday at the Department of Education, and I don't know how much media coverage or press it's gotten, is stuff on the student learning time. What the commissioner asked his board to approve, and I believe this goes into effect on January 19th, is that school districts in hybrid models must average over a 2-week period 35 hours of live instruction. So what they're looking for schools to do is to tabulate when kids are in school, how many hours do they have over a 2-week period? And when they're remote, how many hours do they have of synchronous instruction? That needs to equal 35 hours. If we have to go fully remote, what they're looking at is 40 hours of synchronous instruction over a 2-week period, but also no fully asynchronous days in a schedule. So every day a kid must have live interaction and contact with a teacher. Had a conversation with Mr. Reardon, reached out to him. We have 2 of our buildings, our K1 and our high school, who currently are below the 35 hours. DESE sent out a list to each school district to check their security portal, and there are a lot of schools who are below the 35-hour minimum that DESE is requiring. So I've already started a conversation with Mr. Reardon, and we'll figure out how we can work collaboratively to get both the primary and the high school up to the 35 hours of instruction for hybrid districts. I'm going to pause there because that's a new one to some people, and see if the school committee has any questions on that.
I don't have any questions on that, but can I go back to something you said earlier?
Sure.
So you had made a comment that there was a teacher in first grade that was doing the movie night with the kids.
Correct.
I just want to say and commend how awesome that is. Like that just made me smile so much, because you couldn't see me because I had the video off, because my kids are all standing around eating dinner and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that is the coolest thing. You know, I just want to comment to that and just say that one of the things that the kids are lacking this year is they're not with all of their kids, like all of their students, all their grades. And that just really touched my heart, because these kids don't all get a chance to see all their friends. They don't, you know, they're in school half the time with half the kids and not the other half. So that was awesome. It was just awesome to hear that.
And there's stuff like that going on every day. I just got that text message maybe 5-10 minutes before I logged on, so I wanted to share it with everyone. But that's happening across the district, and it's just those different ways to build memories in this COVID world. So you're right, Ms. Welder. It's absolutely incredible. It's awesome. Anything on the fun-filled remote learning time, which isn't as awesome as the movie night?
In terms of the threshold, or about how far off are the 2 schools from that?
Sure. So the primary school is 2 hours off. So not bad. That can easily be made up with a couple of tweaks and adjustments. The high school is significant. They're at, where am I here? They're at 23.5 hours. So they're almost 12 hours off over a 2-week period. So we're going to have to look at how we change some things on those days when, on those Thursdays and Fridays when kids aren't in school. So made a couple of suggestions. We'll see where we go from here. I know, as I said, I think the DTA is meeting tomorrow to have a conversation. They'll reach out to me end of this week, beginning of next week, to see where we go.
I do have a question. I've followed a little bit of it, but was there any discussion with that passage of the difference between, say, an elementary school and a high school as far as kids in front of the computer time? Because I know that's a concern, especially at the younger grades for some parents.
I have not seen anything on it. It's not to say that it's not buried somewhere in the fine print, but I haven't heard anything of them differentiating between 35 hours for a K student and 35 hours for a grade 12 student.
But it sounds like our K1 are almost there anyway, at least over the 2-week period. So it averages out. Okay. Correct. Thank you.
Correct. All right.
I don't have another question, but I think I just want to throw out there that, you know, in terms of commending teachers for movie nights and all the emotional pieces, which is fantastic. I just want to commend them also for like jumping through all of these changing hoops. It really has been sinking in with me. I mean, since this started, but I don't know, something about the holiday season. It's really sinking in with me that like they basically learned a new job, and you know, I don't know how far it goes, but I really want them to know how much we appreciate it. It really makes a difference in our kids' lives. And I know being in the building is not always easy, but it really makes a tangible difference. I interact with the younger kids, so that's what I know, but I really see it. And I know Julie talks about it a lot too. So, you know, whatever we can do to make this work the best for every part of the community. It's tough because one thing is not the best for everyone, but yeah, I just want to say again that we really appreciate everything the teachers are doing. So thank you guys.
Well, and I think when you hear the rest of what I'm going to talk about, it's you're going to hear a lot of the awesome stuff that's happening across the 4 buildings, which is just great. Will touched on it. Basketball tryouts started this week. We have 35 boys trying out and 13 girls. We're going to be able to run a JV and a varsity. I've been in contact with Mary and Josh over the past couple of days. The kids are following the safety protocols. They said it's gone very, very smoothly. They've been trained on using the fogging machines in between practices in order to get the chairs and the balls and everything clean. So really happy that we're able to provide that opportunity for our student athletes. I'm happy that 35 kids tried out for boys basketball. Just sad that tough to carry 18 kids on a JV and a varsity squad. So I don't know. I think they said they were going to do 3 days of tryouts. So we'll see where we go from there. Another thing is the testing. We finally received the rapid testing that we applied for that grant. That the tests came in, the nurses have them. We're just waiting now for the email to go out to families through the Beacon Company in order to get approval. We sent something out for a paper email consent form. We're just asking families to hold off and do the email consent form, and that it's a lot easier for us to track it that way. So that should be coming shortly. And I think I mentioned last week in a newsletter that we applied for a grant for a one-time free testing of all staff. We were approved for that grant, received the contract yesterday. Mrs. Keegan looked at the contract with a fine-tooth comb and is going to share a couple of her feedback with me on Friday, and we'll get it back to the company. They say it's about 7 to 10 days from when they receive the signed contract to when we get the tests to be able to administer to staff. So the hope is that after vacation, we'll be able to provide that one-time testing to all of our staff. Need to look a little closer at the contract, work with the nurses as to what day we will do that. But I'm happy for that opportunity from this company to be able to offer that to our staff and then be able to test them when we come back from the holiday break. In terms of the buildings, lots of great stuff going on. I'll start with the primary school. I mean, I know every building is doing Spirit Week this week. Primary school has done, staff luncheons. They've done ugly sweater nights. They've done gray night, movie night, story night we saw tonight. They've done hot chocolate. Today, Miss Social went to the police department and provided treats for the police department, thanking them for all their service to the school. Really touched and pleased about the snowflake drive that the district has put together. The primary school was able to offer gift cards to 8 needy families so that when kids wake up on Christmas morning, they have something under the tree. And that's just truly remarkable that we were able to do that for 8 families, which is just awesome. In terms of curriculum going on at the primary school, they're getting ready to start and organize a committee to look at pre-K to 5, putting together a district literacy plan. We all know the importance of kids being able to read and write, and they're going to spend some time looking at our district literacy program and putting together a plan for how we can promote and improve student literacy. I think going forward with the gaps that are being created as a result of COVID, beginning to address that is important. They're also looking at grant writing for ST Math, and they're evaluating 2 math programs in Go Math and Into Math. Our elementary school is continuing with Spirit Week as well. They're doing holiday door decorating. There's been some great pictures on Twitter if you've had the opportunity to see it. They're also partnering with the primary school in terms of grant writing and the literacy program. Their Snowflake Drive at the elementary school collected over $2,000, which allowed them to adopt 15 children from 6 different families. So again, awesome stuff. And again, being able to make sure that families and kids have the opportunity to celebrate something during this holiday season. Middle school is doing a Spirit Week as well. Things like Crazy Hat Day, Ugly Sweater Day, Pajama Day, and they're doing a donation drive, working on stuff with can drives, hats, gloves, scarves, socks. So being able to give back to the community and do things for families at the middle school. Our high school has some great things going on. It sounds like ugly sweaters and door decorating is a theme because they too will be doing that. But we also have a couple of really cool things. Will touched on the fact that our freshmen are coming back virtually from college on January 6th to meet with our juniors and seniors and help them have that discussion. What do you need to successfully transition into college? But we also have some cool partnerships we've been able to create recently. The Blackstone Valley Course Collaborative is offering a welding and cybersecurity class to our students. We're partnering with Blackstone Millville, I believe Grafton, Hopedale, and Sutton in order to offer these programs to kids. We're going to have 2 or 3 kids be able to enroll in these welding and cybersecurity classes. These happen after school and on weekends, and just another opportunity for kids to get exposed to some different types of courses. And we hope to build on this in the future. Josh and the guidance department have partnered with Quincy Community College to offer early college credits for students. Students at Douglas High School have the opportunity to take a course at Quincy and be able to receive not only college credit for it, but also high school credit for it, which can be used at any state college or university. It just started. Josh says he wishes he had some more kids excited about it, but hopefully we can get the word out and get that rolling because it's a great opportunity for our kids to be able to get some high school credits and college credits all while still being in high school. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking non-COVID and talking about some great things that are happening in our schools, and again, share that out with the committee and the community. That's my report for this evening. Be more than happy to entertain questions if people have them.
We have none. Has anybody joined the chat at all?
I have not seen any people. Just one question here. Regarding the change from DESE about the hours, my oldest son has 2 classes with DHS and the rest through Edgenuity. How are they going to evaluate the 35 hours for students in his situation? Or is this just for the school as a whole? We'll have to look to see how we do that with kids who are in the fully remote model. Kids who are in the fully remote model need to have 40 hours. I don't know what's going to happen with this question. I'll have to look into that. That's a good question. And I think these are for the kids who made the choice and the families that made the choice not to come in and be fully remote. So how are they going to get that instruction? So we'll have to look at that. Okay. Person said.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Nope, just say he's probably getting 4 hours per 2 weeks. So we'll have to look at that.
Okay. Anybody else? Not see any hands up. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Vieira.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we'll be moving on to the school committee and subcommittee report, accounts payable. I don't know, is there some?
Didn't see anything today.
Okay. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, the December 2nd, 2020 meeting minutes. Nobody has any issues. I'll be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the December 2nd, 2020 meeting minutes.
Motion made by Kelly,
Second.
second by Heather. Roll call vote.
Becky Cherniak, aye.
Kelly Grady, aye.
Julie Mulder, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Lisa Brown, aye. Thank you. Now we'll be moving on to the FY 2021 bus transportation.
Mrs. Keegan, do you want to take that one?
Sure can.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you go to, did you all get it? Did you all receive it from me?
Yep.
By
Yep.
email?
Yep,
Okay,
I
just
did.
wanted to make sure, because I was just finishing this up, this morning. So, basically, it was requested, by the town administrator and board of selectmen, just change the language, in section C, that's on the second page, number 1. And basically, we took out the language saying that if the state closed all school districts and changed it to say, basically, if anyone did, say if the Board of Health did, or if the superintendent did, for 20 consecutive scheduled school days or more. And we're hoping that doesn't happen. We all hope that doesn't happen.
Correct.
So I don't really see that to be any problem at all. So that was that. And if that did happen, that just kind of like the language we already had in there, we would have to meet to kind of renegotiate for those days if it goes over the 20 consecutive days closed. And the other addition was just a language in number 2 directly under that. It's just basically kind of just making a statement regarding how we do understand that Telstone is incurring additional expenses to clean, disinfect, and prepare the buses and things of that nature. Just kind of a statement of understanding, I guess you could call it. It doesn't really affect anything, but just so that we kind of have an understanding that, during this COVID world, there are additional costs. And even though there are no services being rendered possibly on some days, that there are additional expenses. And that was it. So we were all set with that. And if the school committee is in agreement, we can get this finalized and processed and move from there. Does anyone have any questions? Nothing else was changed in the document.
Mrs. Keegan, have you had a conversation with Neil Telstone about this?
Oh, yes, sorry, thank you.
It's all right.
Okay, yes, I did call him today and he's fine with that.
Okay,
Mhm. I actually sent him the draft for
okay.
his review.
Everyone's on, I think we need a motion.
Is
We
Lisa-
do. Lisa's having technical difficulties.
Okay,
Can you
So
hear me now?
there she is.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, I can't see anything, so that's great. So we need a new motion, but we don't have any, we're just gonna be making a motion on the memorandum of agreement.
Yes, dated December 16th, 2020, please.
I move to accept the revised memorandum of agreement between Telstone and Sons Incorporated and the Douglas Public Schools on December 16th, 2020.
Motion made by Becky,
Second.
second by Heather. Roll call vote.
Julie Mulder, aye.
Becky Cherniak, aye.
Kelly Grady, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Lisa Brown, aye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll be moving on to the school business and operations managers report.
I do not have any transfers and reclassifications for this evening. I'm still working on those, and I guess we can wait until the January 4th meeting,
6.
unless we had an additional meeting. But otherwise, I will bring them on January 4th.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any topics not anticipated? It was a quick meeting.
Mhm.
I don't think I'll have any complaints.
Mhm.
Nobody has anything? All right, well, I hope we're not supposed to be back until January 6th, so this is the last one for 2020. And that was quite a year.
It was.
So-
Mm.
Let's hope for January 6th, 2021. And if anybody has anything, you can always reach out to Dr. Vieira or your principals or your teachers or us. We have an email. And hope everybody follows all the guidelines so we can come back after vacation. And everybody have a great holiday. And with that, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:29 p.m.
Motion made by Kelly,
Second.
second by Julie, and a roll call vote.
Becky Charniak, aye.
Kelly Grady, aye.
Julie Mulder, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Lisa